My name is Jeff Morgan. I am from Dallas, Texas. This video is primarily for people in the state of Texas, and particularly if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, we invite anybody to come, but particularly if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we'd love to have you come out and join us. People know that there is a man in Tarrant County right now. His name is David Henderson. He's got a dying son. His son is dying of cancer, has possibly a couple of weeks left to live. We don't even know how long that is right now. This is Sunday, and today David went out to see his son, and his ex-wife refused to let him see his son. Again, this son has just a couple of weeks left, loves his father, wants to be with his father, wants to be with both parents, with mother and father both. But we have a system right now that has made the mother, in many instances, sometimes it's the father, the gatekeeper of the child, and whoever is the custodial parent, so to speak, has the power to keep another parent out of that child's life, even when the child is dying, even when the child has less than possibly a couple of weeks to live. This is evil and it is perverse. Initially, we talked about the issue of the court order that was given in one of the courts, and I'm going to keep the court not mentioned right now. But there was a court order that basically gave the father 2 15-minute FaceTime calls a day for 15 minutes, FaceTime calls with his dying son. As a result of some activism, he was given up to 3 one-hour visits per day. I believe that got cut back later. I'm not completely sure on those details. But today he went to go see his son, and he was not allowed to see his dying son who wants to see his father. This is perverse, it is immoral, it is unjust. So we are going to be meeting in Tarrant County in front of the the Tarrant County Family Law Center. We've got some events planned for this week. This will be Wednesday, June the 28th, 29th, I believe it is, Wednesday anyway, through Friday. It's going to be just a couple of days, but we're going to be in Tarrant County in front of the Family Law Center. And we have many people that are planning to join us. I hope that you will come and join us. And if you live in this area, I hope that you come and join us, because what is going on in our family courts are perverse. And I want to say this about Christians in particular, because Christians have been at the forefront of the pro-life movement. Many Christians have gone in front of abortion clinics. They've raised their signs. They've prayed for people going in to have an abortion. They've done sidewalk counseling. They've kept people from going in and having abortions. Due to these activities, many children have not been aborted. They have had life. And now with the recent decision that was issued by the Supreme Court, perhaps even more children will be saved. I know in Texas that will be the case because of different laws that we have in place with that Supreme Court decision. But Christians have been at the forefront of this. We've talked about the evil of abortion, but we do not talk about the evil of family courts. And I believe that Christians, especially large churches, should start looking at the evil of family courts. Family courts destroy families. That is their purpose. Oh, we're going to have a nice divorce. That is hogwash. To a child, the divorce between a mother and a father is traumatic almost always, even at times when it's necessary. And we have to stop this. In our Texas family code, people can file for divorce for any reason, for no reason. They can make up a reason. They don't need a reason to actually file for divorce. They just say, well, it's insupportable, our marriage is insupportable. The judge will never, ever, ever say, well, can you give me some proof? Show me the proof that this marriage is insupportable. An allegation of one person will destroy a family, and generally speaking, because of the way things work in Texas, whoever petitions for the divorce wins the case automatically. And the first way you know that is, number one, he or she gets a divorce. I want to divorce my wife because I found a nice little young chick over here, and she performs sexual favors for me that I like more than my wife does. I'm going to divorce my wife and say that our marriage is insupportable. I'm a woman, and I say, you know what? I found this one guy, and he's whining and dining me. He's got a lot more money than my husband. He can take me around the world. I want to divorce my husband, dump him, and go off with my new friend. And the courts not only permit divorces in those cases under the idea of insupportability, but they actually reward the person who is filing for divorce. But the big thing right now we're talking about is children's access to parents. Children should have access to both parents in almost every instance. There may be some that you can say, hey, this is not a good thing. That's fine. I'll grant you those. But by and large, the majority, by and large, children need access to both parents. Both parents were necessary to create a child. Both parents are necessary to help rear a child. That is the bottom line. And by the way, when I say both parents, I don't mean mommy and stepdaddy or mommy and fiance. I don't mean daddy and stepmommy and daddy and his fiance or girlfriend or significant other. Because sometimes we have same-sex marriages that take place, and well, there's two men together, and as long as there's two parents in the children's life, that's good. No, it's not. There's two women together, and as long as we have two lesbian lovers together in the child's life, that's good. No, it is not. It is perverse. It is the moral miseducation of our children. It also causes trauma to the children, and it is completely unjust. So what we're talking about here is that in the situation of divorce, what should happen with parents and their visitation of children? Parents do have a right to their children. Unless there is some criminal reason that they should not have that right, they should have that right. That is a fundamental right. The Supreme Court has ruled on this and has declared it to be a fundamental right. And yet our family courts, our family courts where there are no cameras in the courtroom, because even though we have cameras in our Texas Supreme Court, the family courts are much too important. We do too much important work here. We just can't have our activities online because somebody might see what we're doing and might actually might splice a videotape and put it together and create a narrative that's not true. My response is this: are these family courts more important than our Texas Supreme Court? Because go to the Texas Supreme Court YouTube channel. Their hearings are archived online. The entire thing. You can go back. I've gone back and I've watched cases that have taken place a couple of years ago. And I am thankful that the Texas Supreme Court puts these cases online. But of course our family court judges, they have to have discretion. We can't let anybody see the secret witchcraft that goes on within our family courts. That, again, is completely it's bunk. We have cameras on our police officers most of the time, so that if there is something that happens and a police officer gets accused, either rightly or falsely, you can review the video footage. In our legislative hearings are videotaped. They are archived. Again, I've gone back to them from several years ago. I look at the hearings. I want to listen to what's being done. But our family courts are much too important for this. These judges, they've got this discretion, and these family law attorneys, no, they would never do anything illegal. They would never pit parent against parent. They would never cause controversy. By the way, attorneys are supposed to not cause divorce. They're supposed to try to seek reconciliation. That's part of their ethics, but that completely gets disregarded. But we just can't have the public know about this. And we cannot see the unjust punishments that these judges are putting upon a person who often is the victim of a divorce, a forced divorce by somebody else. And in the case with Mr. Henderson and his son Corbin, Corbin loves both parents, wants to be with both parents, but the court has made the mother the primary guardian, the gatekeeper of access to the child. And even though the son is dying and wants to see his father, she's going to say, no way, I'm not going to do this. And we had a judge that said, well, Mr. Henderson, you can get 2 15-minute FaceTime calls a day. You're dying, son? 2 15-minute phone calls a day. That's good enough for you. Well, it was good enough until we started to talk about this thing. Anyway, this week, again, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday as well, we will be at the Tarrant County Courthouse. And we'll have more information about this. There are still details being worked out. A lot of things that are being coordinated. I'm going to report as I can. There is a Facebook page right now. It's called Dad Talk Today in Tarrant County. And I'll put a link down here to that as well. That is, Dad Talk Today is coming in from Georgia to cover this case. For anybody who's followed Dad Talk Today, I've worked with Dad Talk. I know Eric Carroll. And I can tell you that the conferences we've gone to, some of the things that we've covered, have made a difference. And we hope to make a difference here. And it's not just because we're coming in from out of town, but there are people in the city of Fort Worth. Larry ONeal, who runs Fort Worth Memories, Political Memories, I think it is, he has a group down there. He has said, I did not even know this injustice existed until about 3 weeks ago. And now that he's talking about it, he's been getting emails from people. He's been hearing more and more stories. Last week, Larry ONeal went into the Tarrant County Courthouse, and he got kicked out of Judge Judith Wells. Judge Judith Wells, who in my opinion is one of the worst judges in the state of Texas. Judge Judith Wells, who, by the way, the Texas Family Law Foundation, that highly esteemed organization that is a lobbyist for divorce attorneys, they had Judge Judith Wells testify on their behalf last year. That was such a laughing stock. Everyone that was there said, you've got to be kidding. Of all people, probably one of the worst judges in the state of Texas, but the Texas Family Law Foundation, Steve and Amy Bresnan, the great lobbyists, they called this corrupt judge up to testify against a bill that would have benefited parents, would have benefited children. Anyway, Larry ONeal he's said, you know what, he cannot believe what's going on here. Since talking about this issue, he's received, I don't know how many emails, how many people that have talked to him. And Larry ONeal, as I mentioned last week, got kicked out of Judge Judith Wells, corrupt Judge Judith Wells, one of the worst family court judges in the state of Texas, got kicked out of her court. And I believe Larry's going to be returning back to her courtroom probably Monday, maybe Tuesday, sometime next week. But it wasn't just in Judge Judith Wells' court that he got kicked out. He got kicked out at another place. I don't know all those details. So here's a person who has the duty, the right, the responsibility to monitor these family courts. He goes inside as an observer and they kick him out. How about that? There is corruption within the Tarrant County family court system, and we look to expose it. And because of the nature of this incident, we are planning to make this very public. I'm hoping that we're going to have some rallies out there. I'm hoping that we're going to have some vigils. I'm hoping that the media, who has been too silent on this issue, will actually come out there as well, because we're going to make some stops to the media along the way as well. I'm also hoping, too, that our governor, Greg Abbott, would see just what a disaster this is, that our legislature would see what a disaster this is. These family courts, they have been abusing people, they have been destroying families, they have been raking people over the coals for years and years and years. And Larry can tell the story of one divorce attorney who came into his office, who came in to have some work done for him. And Larry was talking about the attorney that he used, and he says, well, you know what, I can charge anything I want. Because Larry was talking about family law and stuff like that, and the guy was willing to come on Larry's program until his wife found out, oh no, this is not a good idea for us. Larry is out. He is like a dog looking for a bone. He is not here to actually defend the family law system. He is here to bring some sunshine to the darkness that reigns within the family law system. Anyway, this attorney told Larry, he said that basically he can charge whatever he wants to. And Larry was very intrigued. Well, what do you mean? He says, the first thing that we do when these clients come in, we look at their financial statements. And this is what we've been saying. The attorneys look at your financial statements so they can size up how much is this person worth, how much is this person worth, how much can we take from them without them coming back to kill us, primarily. How much can we financially rape them? How much can we extort them for? We are going to create conflict. We know that how it's going to end in the long run, but we have to create some billable hours. Billable hours is the lifeblood of the family law attorneys, the divorce attorneys. More billable hours. And it's interesting because even when you have billable hours, they sometimes also include billable hours for facilities that they are not even using. They have another person accompany them from the office, and they make money off of that person. So a billable hour for an attorney that might be $500, $600, $700, who knows what it is, all of a sudden escalates to like $1,200 or something. And you're paying for it. And sometimes you end up paying for your ex-wife or your ex-husband's attorneys. I've known people that have had to sell their houses to pay for the bills that an attorney for the opposite side, either the husband or the wife, has incurred. This is perverse, and this is what's going on under family court systems. This has been happening in Texas for years and years and years. And we are at the place right now that I think we're seeing a change in the tide. I was down at the GOP convention last week, and all I could say when I came back is that, like Elijah talked about one point in time when he was praying for rain to come in on King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, and his servant went running back and forth to see if the rains were coming. Elijah kept praying, and he said, Elijah, I see the cloud the size of a man's fist. And Elijah said, go tell Ahab the rains are coming. And that's what I'm hoping is happening right now, that we are seeing this cloud the size of a man's fist that is going to just wipe out, cleanse, purge this evil system, this anti-family court cartel. And Tarrant County is one of the worst areas for it. So yes, we want to go in there. We want to expose them. We want to talk about what's happening there. I would love to see hundreds of people gather once the details are out. I also know that many people say they'll be there and they won't. but we need to have people there. And again, not just people that have been impacted by this system. I'd love to see True Texas Project out there. I would like to see Gateway Church people send people out there. I would like to see just regular citizens, Democrats, Republicans, black, white, old, young, children, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everybody out there protesting, because here's the reality. In the state of Texas, almost everybody has been impacted either directly or indirectly by the anti-family court cartel. Divorce is a big industry. Child custody is a big industry. There are federal incentives that actually reward states for assigning high child support and then often do not do anything about making sure that both parents have access to children. I'd love to see legislators out there. I'd like to see district attorneys out there. I'd like to see judges come and join us. If you're a family law attorney or an anti-family law attorney and you've said, listen, my conscience needs to be purged, I want to come out and join you, please come and join us. We'll take your story as well. And by the way, I was up in Carlet County one time and I was talking with a criminal attorney, and he said, you know, Jeff, he said, I was an attorney. First he was a police officer, and he left the police officer ranks because he had to give tickets to people. And he's like, why am I giving tickets to people? But he had a quota that he had to meet. And then he became an attorney, and he went through a divorce himself. And some of his people said, listen, go into family law. You can turn some big money that way. And he did for a little bit of time. And when I spoke with him, he said, Jeff, he said, I'm a Christian. I cannot sleep with my conscience at night. And he was in the process of leaving the entire thing. He had 2 cases left at that point. He went into criminal justice as far as I believe he went into defending criminals or criminal prosecution. I don't remember exactly which one at that point. He said, I'm making less money, but I can sleep with my conscience at night. Maybe you're one of those divorce attorneys that wants to say, you know what, it's time for me to come clean. I go to a church, I tell everybody what a wonderful person I am. I'm a family law attorney, I'm destroying families. Come out and join us. If you are one of these family law attorneys that just said, I've had enough of this, I want to help expose this industry, come and join us. We want your stories. There is a particular law firm as well. We will have in our crosshairs, I hope, as well. But that's yet to be determined. But we do hope that you come out there. Again, this is going to be in Tarrant County this week, Wednesday and Thursday. I don't have the details yet. I think after that we may be going to Rockwall County. If anybody knows, I have a very fond place in my heart for Rockwall County. So if we can pull that off as well, Rockwall, you will also be having an event out there as well at the courthouse. But anyways, please come and join us. Again, Dad Talk Today is coming to Tarrant County. We need your support, not only if you've been impacted by these courts, but again, every constitutional conservative, every politician that you know, everybody who belongs to these groups like True Texas Project, every church member, if you can, the best that you can. Gateway Church, big church out there. I've heard that some good things are happening out there. Come and look at what's happening in our family courts. And like the abortion industry, we've prayed, we've counseled, we've picketed, we've done all sorts of things. And there's been a lot of success because of that. We need to have the same type of success in our family court, or I should say our anti-family court, our family destruction industry, to purge the evil of this cartel. Anyway, that's it. Hope to see you out there this week. I'll give more details later. Please follow us at the Facebook group. It's Dad Talk Today in Tarrant County, and we'll post details there as we have them. Thank you so much.